Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to One Piece, episodes 970 and 971. 2 episodes, not 4, because these are the last 2 episodes that are released. There are no more episodes out yet. And you also may be wondering, why is this coming up on the same day as a 4-episoder? Well, bonus. I decided, let's just get caught up now. Let's just fully catch up now. That way this weekend, when the episode actually airs, next Tuesday we'll be ready to be fully caught up so that every Tuesday we'll have a new episode from here on out. So this week we just get a bonus. We have the normal 4-episoder, but we also have a 2-episoder to balance it out and get us fully caught up. We are fully caught up with One Piece after this. And it's like I talked about last time, it's insane to think about that we're finally at this point. Because if you look back at the playlist for One Piece reactions on this channel, it's been going for a while. We had some One Piece reactions for a while. Just in this separated time period, we had a few there. And then I took a break for a while because it's just time and everything and a lot of other factors made me have to change the schedule and everything and eventually get rid of the schedule before bringing it back. So when we finally brought this back, I was finally able to bring back One Piece, and once I finally brought back One Piece again, then we just kind of blasted through it all. We had multiple One Piece weeks. We had at first I think it was 3 episodes a week, but then it ended up becoming 4. And so it's it just snowballed into this big blast of episodes that just continued to help us get caught up. And I'm so happy to be here. And today is a very good day to do this as well, because look what just came in the mail today. Carrot. Yeah, this was a figure that I had my eyes on for a while. Let me see if I can get it a little closer so it's not so bright, so you can see it a little better. Yeah, as you can see, it's Carrot in Chopper's headgear and everything. It's a really nice figure too. It has a lot of great detail. There's even on the chest here on the shirt, there's even some wrinkles on there. It's really detailed, really nice figure. Here's the box if you want to see it. It is a Banpresto figure, Sweet Style Carrot. Like I said, it's really nice, really high quality. I'm gonna put this on my shelf right next to the Wano Robin figure I already have. But I wanted to show it off to you guys as well. It's really nice. I really love it. And there's some other figures I've got my eye on too at this point, that I'll probably get in the future as I get the expendable money to be able to get them. And they're fairly cheap figures too. This one was less than $30 on Amazon. So it's a really nice figure, and it has a lot of great detail. Like I said, let me see if I can show it a little better. It's not going to focus that well on the camera, but the detail on the face is fantastic. And like I mentioned, the detail on the clothing and everything on the tail is great. It's really high quality. So I'm really happy with this. It's also bigger than I thought it would be. For some reason, I thought it was going to be a little smaller than this. I'm not disappointed, I'm just saying. But yeah, I'm super happy to have my Carrot figure now, because like I said, I've been wanting this one for a while, just as a big fan of Carrot. So yeah, I'll just set that right over here for the time being. That should work. um, so yeah, we are, I presume, nearing the end of these flashback sequences. Because based on everything we've got, um, Odin has returned to Wano after spending about a year as part of the Blackbeard, as part of the Roger Pirates. Roger has disbanded the crew and is heading to what is eventually going to be his death, knowing that he's dying already anyways, but he's going to be heading to the gallows, and we know this. He's going to make his statement known. And Odin is having to deal now with Orochi and everything, especially after he found out what happened with his wife and kids while he was away, continuing towards Laugh-Tale during the last part of his journey. So it definitely seems like it's nearing the end of these flashbacks. We're going to probably see Roger's last moments, but in more detail and stuff, and give some more context to it than what we've seen before. We're probably going to see Odin captured and executed by Orochi, because we know Orochi has Kaido in his pocket at this point. He's not going to relinquish the throne. He's not, even though he's technically supposed to be just a temporary placeholder until Odin gets back to take the throne and everything. Throne is a weird way to put it. You know what I mean. To take the position of Shogun. Even though he's supposed to be a placeholder for the moment, you know that's not going to be the case. We know for a fact Orochi and Kaido and them had Odin executed, and we know that they just completely took over. So yeah, we know where this goes. The big interesting part about it is seeing how it happened, though. So I'm definitely going to be interested in seeing that. Um, but yeah, I'm very excited to get back into the main storyline. I've been enjoying these flashbacks immensely, like much more than I thought I would at the beginning. When they first started, I was actually a little annoyed. Like, I hope this doesn't last too long. Like, I'm making the Odin annoyed face. I don't know how to make that face, so I'm not actually going to do it. But like, that was kind of my thoughts. It's like, I hope this doesn't last too long. It's like, it's probably going to be interesting, but I want to get back to the actual main plot here. I want to see what's going to happen with the raid uh on Kaido's fortress and everything. Like, that's what interests me right now. And so I was going into these flashbacks just not that invested. But then they actually started happening, and they really started getting good. We're learning all of this about Kinemon and about all the other Akazaya 9. We're learning all this information about Odin and eventually Whitebeard and Roger as well. And it becomes, like I said last time, the flashbacks are important. They're a big deal, and they add so much depth and development into these characters and these plot points that we've known since the very beginning of this series. And yet these flashbacks build upon that in such an important way for the context of One Piece. And I love that. I think that's phenomenal on Oda's part to have that kind of forethought and writing prowess and just amazing, amazing ability. So I, for one, ended up really loving these flashbacks. Like, you guys saw I got really emotional during the laugh tale scene with all the laughing and the music and just all of that. It was a phenomenal scene and again built so much into this series. And I now kind of don't want it to end. But I know it needs to, and I do know we do need to go back to the main story. I don't know exactly how much longer it's going to be. I don't know if we're going to end it off in these next two episodes. I'm thinking not. I'm thinking we're not because I think that these last like moments for Odin, these last big actions for him before his death are going to be important to a degree that they need to be shown over a few different episodes. That it's going to be something that's going to need that time to be put into it. But who knows? Who knows? We'll have to see exactly what happens and hope for the best. Excuse me. There's a lot that we could still see here. And I'm very, very interested in what they do. So, we're just going to get this started. We have, once again, 2 episodes, and then we are fully caught up with One Piece. For the first time in years, since, like, I believe it was early Dressrosa. Like, that was years ago, though, at this point. There's so much to look forward to with this. And I will say that I did mention that I was planning on doing a special reaction once I caught up, and I still plan on doing that. That is still happening. I don't know if it'll be this week or next week or whatnot. We'll see. But that is still coming. So just keep that in the back of your mind for now. Yeah. It's gonna be insane, but gotta do it. Gotta finally be there. So when the screen fades black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, we are caught up. With these episodes, we are now 100% fully caught up with the series. Episode 972 airs this weekend, meaning we'll get to it next Tuesday. So, yeah. As I've said before, One Piece obviously will be continuing on the channel. It's pretty much our permanent fixture series. And it will be going just as it airs now. 1 episode a week. And if there's a week where the series has to take off or whatever, and there's no episode that week, then there's no episode that week. Not really much of anything I can do about it. So that's what's happening. It's wild to finally be at this point. And it's going to make it so much easier to pre-record things because the 4 episode length of One Piece recordings admittedly take a bit out of me, because you're recording 4 episodes at once, which equates to just for the reaction alone about an hour 25 minutes. Add in the redirect with both the pre-thoughts and post-thoughts, the afterthoughts, that's adding maybe another 25 minutes approximately to it, depending on how much I talk, how long I talk. Let's just say 25 minutes just to round it to a good number for that. That's an hour and 50 minutes total. That's almost 2 hours of just one show. So yeah, One Piece had taken a lot, and it makes it harder for me to like pre-record everything at a reasonable pace a lot of times, which is why I was pre-recording One Piece the week before. So it's like I would pre-record the 4 episodes of One Piece and then post them the very next week. But I would only pre-record it after I'd already pre-recorded everything else for that week. So it's like, but now I don't have to do that anymore. Starting next week, we'll just be able to get straight into a One Piece reaction, 1 episode at a time. And it won't be difficult at all to pre-record, to worry about that. So, hey. Now, as for the events of this, we did get to see Roger's execution, but there wasn't, I was kind of wrong. There wasn't much more context put on it other than Odin's reaction. Odin's reaction to Roger's death was the only new bit of context added to it. Otherwise, the execution itself was mostly pretty much the same. Stuff we had seen before. So I'm going to try to focus these afterthoughts on the main meat of these episodes, outside of just that little bit of stuff that we already knew about, between the battle between Kaido and Moria, which we briefly got a glimpse at. I'm not going to talk about that stuff. I'm going to talk about the important stuff about these episodes. So, Odin, wanting revenge for the danger his family was put into, goes to the Shogun's castle in the Flower Capital and attacks all of the guards as well as Orochi. However, he's not able to complete his attack on Orochi because the old man who we had met before is a devil fruit user, and he had the barrier fruit, which current day belongs to Barto of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. So that's fun. And Higurashi, the old woman, has the devil fruit that eventually became Bentham's, Bon Clay's or Mr. Two's or whatever you want to call him. And it's like I'm kind of wondering now, like, wouldn't that be a huge surprise if both Bentham and Barto ended up coming to Wano at some point and helping in the final battle with Kaido? Wouldn't that be like one hell of a surprise? Just because of the connection with the devil fruits and everything. And now having those devil fruits work against Orochi would be kind of poetically beautiful. That would be amazing. But I don't necessarily think it's going to happen. I just think it would be cool if it did. But yeah, Odin was not able to get his revenge there. And instead, he ended up making a deal with Orochi and Kaido. Though we don't know the full extent of the deal, we know that he was trying to guarantee the safety of the people. And that through that, he was told he had to act like a fool and shame himself for 5 years. Well, pretty much 5 years. And he did. He made a laughingstock of himself and his family and started to turn all of Wano against them. And he did it all to protect people. But in the end, Orochi and Kaido went back on their agreement in regards to some kind of boat. So I don't know exactly what that was about. And it's at that point that Oden decided to gather up his retainers and declare war on Kaido and Orochi. They were trying to execute the exact same plan that our heroes were trying to execute in the current day. But as we find out, there was a traitor back then too. And this pretty much guarantees that the traitor has to be a member of the Akazaya Nine, just based on who is there and everything. And as I said in the reaction, at this point, with what we've seen of the characters, how we saw them join Oden, and all of that information we've gotten, I don't see it being anyone except Raizo or Kanjuro. And as I also said, I don't suspect either of them more than the other. And whoever had been doing it had definitely been playing the long game and had been just playing one hell of a false character for so long. So I'm just wondering, who was it and why? And if it ends up being someone else, if it ends up being one of the others, I'd be really surprised. For multiple reasons. Like, as I mentioned, it couldn't be Denjiro, because he's not there in the current day. It couldn't be it couldn't be God, what was his name? Why is his name escaping me? Kinemon. It couldn't be Kinemon. Like, there's no way. He's like kind of our main member of the Akazaya Nine, who we followed for so long now. And it's just like, with his connection with Momonosuke especially, I just don't see it being him at all. Though that would be an amazing twist, admittedly. With Kawamatsu and his connection to Hiyori, I don't see it being him either. And Okiku, I don't really feel like there's a reason to think it's Okiku, and I'm not just saying that just because I like her and she's my favorite member of the Akazaya Nine. I'm not just saying that because of that. There's really no reason to suspect her, of all characters. Though if she did end up being the traitor, that would be kind of interesting, just to find out why and how and everything. Because again, there'd be a lot of questions that would go into that, considering the things that she's done in the current day, and again, how we saw her join Oden and everything with her brother, who's now a member of the Whitebeard Pirates at this point in the flashback. So it's like, I'm just genuinely curious as to where this is going to go with this. But the fact that we are seeing this in this flashback kind of tells me that once we get back to the modern day stuff, we're going to find out about the traitor real soon. Like, I don't think they're going to hide that from us too much longer, because we found out was a traitor in the current day, and now with all of this flashback stuff going on, we now find out there's a traitor back 20 years ago too, and pretty much betraying towards the same plan. I don't think that Oda is going to hide this much longer. I think that once we get back to the current day story, we are going to find out right quick who the traitor is. And again, my only two real suspects right now are Raizo and Kanjuro. But if it does end up being Okiku, or even somehow surprisingly Kinemon, or any of the others really, I would really be surprised. But as long as they do it well, as long as Oda wrote it well, then that's what matters, and we'll see. But yeah, seeing Oden's reaction to just all of this and seeing how he had to make a fool of himself because of it, it's really sad, but we also see how far he's willing to go to help people. Like, remember, this was the guy who was kind of a troublemaker, who was constantly causing problems and just wanted to leave Wano. And now he's not only back for good, but he's fighting, and as we know, is going to be executed for these people that he wanted to leave so badly before, that he was causing trouble for before. Honestly, his time with both Whitebeard and Roger had changed him. He became so close with both of those crews and started to see, and even before that, even with his retainers joining him and everything, he started to see the value of people a lot more and truly became this person who wants to help others, who wants to protect others. And it would have made him a fantastic shogun of Wano if Orochi hadn't taken over. Um, so yeah, I really like what these episodes did in terms of Odin's character. And I feel like it's really giving us a lot of big, heavy depth to end on. We're getting to see Odin's family being cute and having fun. We're getting to see, on the flip side, all these characters who we either came to know through these flashbacks or will come to know in the current day. We get to see their struggles and everything with this situation. Even Hyogoro, we get to see a little more of through these flashbacks and find out his wife was murdered trying to save him when he was being taken into custody. Oda has given just so much depth to this story. And not just the story of One Piece as a whole, but just this arc, this specific story of Wano has been given so much depth and intrigue. It's clearly one of those arcs that is meant to be seen as extremely important. Like, I would say it's one of the most important arcs of the entire series. Right up there with the likes of Marineford. The events we're finding out about, whether in current day or flashback, are so excessively important to just how the entire series has gone. So much of it is like explaining the events of this, of everything our heroes have gone through, pretty much. And it makes sense because we are in the Yonko saga. So it makes sense that these arcs would be important. But like even our first arc of this saga with Whole Cake Island, even that, or I guess technically Zoe might have been the first arc of this saga, technically, but you know, the first big one, focusing on a Yonko. Whole Cake Island was important, yes, but I don't think it was that important. Not in comparison to Wano here. Like, there's a lot of big important stuff that happened with Whole Cake, for sure. And there's a lot of stuff that's continued to go forward into the current arc and everything with Big Mom and whatnot. But at the same time, there's still a lot more, I feel like, on the horizon that maybe hasn't been explained yet, and maybe we just don't have all the information for yet. But without question, this arc is more important. And probably in ways we don't even know yet. This act so far has been almost entirely dedicated to these flashbacks. And that's fine. That's fine. Because again, these flashbacks were excessively important. But once we get back into the current day, I feel like we're going to not have a lot of buffer time. We're probably going to get right into the intensity of things. I feel like the rest of Act 3 after the flashbacks is probably going to be a practical war with Kaido. That we are going to have nonstop fighting, action, intense, just confrontations with these characters. That's what I'm kind of expecting. Even though things are going wrong for this raid plan, I think still something's going to cause the battle to happen anyway. And I can't wait to see how it goes down. Because if I am right and the traitor is revealed shortly after we get back to the current day stuff, then if that goes in line with this possible war, that means that they're going to betray them during the battles, and that's probably going to cause a lot of shit. That's probably going to maybe even cause someone to get massively injured. We'll have to see. I'm very, very excited for the future of this, and now that we're watching episode by episode, I'm thrilled to see what's going to happen in a whole new way. No need to worry about marathoning through episodes each week anymore. Feels good to be caught up. But at the same time, it is kind of sad, because only doing one episode a week from now on is going to be a little depressing. Maybe even if just because it's like there's going to be more cliffhangers that I have to wait for. I mean, I love cliffhangers, but still, it is still hard to sit through, and it's hard to wait for sometimes. So we'll have to see. But tell me in the comments below what you thought of these 2 episodes of One Piece. And if you know what's going to happen in the future because of the manga, if you've read the manga, please, no spoilers. Being caught up now and everything, I am super excited to see what happens next, and I don't want any spoilers. I know a couple things that are coming, but I don't know all the context behind them, and I'm not even going to tell you what they are, just in case. But most of what's coming, like, I know very little. And I only basically know a couple small things. So, no spoilers. Hammering that in. But either way, thank you so much once again for tuning in. Like I said, tell me your thoughts down below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.